Hi, I'm Amy and I'm here at Gatwick Airport train station because today I am going to be facing my fear of flying. So if you want to see how I get on, please keep on watching. I need to make my way to the North Terminal, so whilst I do that, voiceover Amy will fill you in on the events that led up to today. Over the course of many years, I've gradually become more nervous about flying. My fear stems from the fact that I have witnessed 2 crashes at air shows, resulting in an obsession with watching air crash investigation and similar programmes. This probably created an irrational association in my mind with flying and crashing. On my last 2 flights, I actually had panic attacks, and these panic attacks came out of nowhere. There was no build-up. It was like a switch flipped and I was unable to function normally. These were not only scary, I also found them really embarrassing. So I decided it was time to address my fear. After a little research, I signed up to do the Fearless Flyer Course offered by EasyJet. It's worth noting that although I picked the EasyJet course, in the UK, British Airways offer a similar course and there might be others I'm unaware of. Both airlines run courses from a range of airports across the UK. The EasyJet Fearless Flyer Course consists of a series of online modules, a video call, then a short experience flight. The 16 modules of the online course can be broadly grouped into an introduction about fear, the technical aspects of flight, and then practical psychological techniques that you can use. The introductory modules provide a great overview about understanding fear with lots of interesting examples. It is also very reassuring, has helped me get into a positive mindset. The more technical modules are presented by a very experienced captain, who covers the sounds and sensations you experience when flying, the many fail-safes in the system to mitigate risks, the security checks prior to flying and crew training. Common concerns regarding turbulence, lightning and bird strikes are also included. I was actually aware of most of these factors, perhaps from my unhealthy obsession with air accidents. That is not to say that others would not find these modules very informative, as they are explained clearly and include good examples to help understanding. The final modules of the course are presented by a psychologist who specialises in anxiety, phobias and panic attacks, and I think these are the ones that will help me the most. They include several easy to understand techniques that can help prevent and address anxiety and panic attacks. As I have a very analytical mind, the fact that the techniques were backed by science have given me more confidence, and I think the techniques for breaking negative associations and combating negative self-talk will be most relevant. 2 days ago, I joined a video call hosted by the Fearless Flyer team, along with the other people that have signed up to the course. During the call, they recapped some of the techniques covered in the online modules, gave some very useful advice about how to reframe concerns in a positive way, answered some common questions, spoke about recent air safety news, and of course provided more detailed joining instructions for the experienced flight today. I arrived at the terminal far too early, so I got myself a coffee. Just a decaf, as I didn't think caffeine and anxiety would be a good mix. Then people watched until it was time to check in. In the queue, I noticed many other people on the course had brought someone with them for support, which you can do subject to an extra cost. But I got chatting to a lovely lady called Becky, who was also there alone. During check-in, whilst negotiating security and making our way to the gate, we bonded over stories of panic attacks on previous flights.
I was trying to clamber out my seat across people
and distracted each other from thinking too much about the fact we were about to be flying again very soon. The flight was delayed due to the late arrival of the aircraft, but whilst waiting at the gate, members of the Fearless Flyer team were circulating, making sure we were okay, answering questions and providing advice. This included 2 pilots, including a captain who would soon be doing the flight commentary, cabin crew, the course director, and last but certainly not least, psychologist Lawrence Layton, who has helped develop the course and presents many of the pre-recorded online modules. I also watched our plane arrive at the gate. I was one of the first to board and was able to snag myself a window seat.
Get some good views out of that today because we're going to go. The cloud's quite high, so we're going to stay below.
So it's something you won't ever do actual flying.
Let's go here. Whilst the pilots prepared the plane for departure, we were talked through a relaxation exercise, and commentary was provided about the various checks and procedures that were going on during that time. Then it was time to push back and taxi to the runway. With very little delay, we were rattling down the runway and gently rising into the sky.
They spool up, they stabilise them, and it will gradually go through to our takeoff calculated power, which is about there. You'll feel as we roll down the runway, you may feel a sort of clicking of bumps. That's the bright lighting on the runway, just the aircraft following the centre line of that. Just coming through now. A little bit like going over a cat eye in your car. Full power of the engines is going through there. Working away, nicely maintaining the centre line as we accelerate towards some 150 or so miles an hour. And rotating slowly, and we're airborne.
Well, what can I say? The flight was truly amazing. Okay, so I wasn't entirely comfortable for the whole flight, but at most I grimaced a few times. In fact, I felt a bit of a fraud being there, as I felt really rather calm. As the flight was just 35 minutes long, we only went to 9,000 feet, and the views were fantastic. In fact, our flight path took us along the south coast of England, from Worthing to Eastbourne, and I was able to see various very familiar landmarks, having lived in the area for almost my entire life. I hope I didn't annoy the lovely lady sat next to me too much with my various excited exclamations and insisting on pointing out to her landmarks such as the River Ada, Shoreham Port, Brighton's Palace Pier, Brighton Marina, the Seven Sisters and Beachy Head. I was genuinely sad that the flight was so short. I would have happily stayed up there for far longer. I would 100% recommend the Fearless Flyer course to anyone scared of flying. I now can't wait to fly again. Which is lucky, because when I booked the course I also booked a short city break for the end of October to ensure that what I've learned doesn't go to waste. If we have clear weather on my upcoming flight, apparently the views on the approach to the airport we will be landing at will be spectacular. So if you're interested in seeing where I'm headed, and if the course has indeed changed my feelings towards flying, please keep an eye out for future videos. I also promise to up my game on the camera work next time. As you can quite clearly tell, I'm very much a beginner. Until next time, take care.
And 3, 2, 1, we've got a lovely job here. And that is a textbook landing there from the captain. Do give her a round of